Yes, good morning and welcome to IrelandAM. Sorry if we woke you up. Sorry, the 3 hours of us though, so it's worth it.
What more could you
We're
want?
spoiling them, ruining them, Sean.
Coming up on the show today, Syrian rebels have claimed to capture the capital of Damascus in the early hours of this morning, announcing the fall of the 24-year al-Assad regime. We'll have the latest on that and everything else that's making your morning papers.
Manchester City have lost more ground in the title race across the pond, while it was a brilliant day for Munster and Connacht in the Champions Cup and Challenge Cup. We've got all your updates from the world of sport in about half an hour.
Now, he's gone from spending time in prison to selling out his new Christmas comedy show. Funny man Willa White is sharing his really inspiring story after 10.
And the rise of music streamers like Spotify has made it easier than ever to share your music. But how do you stand out among the likes of Taylor Swift and Chapel Roan? We'll be learning how to support our best up-and-coming musicians a little later.
And it wouldn't be Christmas without a panto. We'll be... Oh, you're going to do it.
I was
going to
do it. Oh, yes, it would.
Yeah, I knew you were going to do it. We will be joined by Beauty and the Beast themselves, which includes wicked West End star Niall Sheedy.
Derek, what are you up to?
Roz, were you ever in a panto?
I'm still waiting on the call, have you?
I think it was the back end of a donkey at one stage.
Oh, I saw you in that one.
Anyway, we have a whole heap of personalised gifts this morning. What are you doing?
We have some fabulous products, so you are going to be the MVP of gifting this year. We have such thoughtful gifts today from Seawe.ie. We have the Gavin Glynn Foundation candle and incredible socks.
Yeah,
so
I love these
please
little
tune in.
piggy socks here. All right, more on that.
So cute.
Now let's check it on your Sunday paper, starting with the front page of the Sunday Independent. They lead with parents of teen girl raped by Cam's doctor fear he may have abused others. The paper reports that the parents of a child raped and groomed by a HSE psychiatrist have questioned how the medic was able to repeatedly abuse their daughter in broad daylight.
On the front of the Business Post this morning is O'Reilly Jr. Irish firms must adapt to new global realities. The paper writes that Ireland remains as appealing to businesses today as it was during the heyday of the Irish Stock Exchange, despite fewer publicly listed firms being developed.
The Sunday Times leads with Martin and Harris set for power. The paper writes that Martin and Harris are locked in a tight battle to become the next Taoiseach in the new year, as Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael will begin talks to re-enter a coalition this week.
On to the tabloids, and the Irish Daily Mail leads with rugby star Brendan Mullen in open prison. The paper writes that disgraced rugby hero Brendan Mullen has been sent to the open prison on Shelton Abbey, despite being sentenced to 3 years in prison for stealing $570,000 from a bank.
The Mirror's headline reads, Little Malika laid to rest. The paper writes that an 8-year-old girl who was stabbed to death in front of her mother was laid to rest yesterday in a small white coffin.
The Sunday World goes with Cops probe Armagh GAA Hull. The paper writes that All-Ireland football champions Armagh have been plunged into crisis after police were called to investigate an alleged serious incident on their recent teen trip to Miami.
Now, gentlemen, a little bit later on in the show, we're making what could be dubbed the Marmite of the festive meal. You either love them or you hate them, but either way, on December the 25th, there's no escaping them. What are we talking about?
Sprouts, I assume. There's nothing else that fits that bill, is there?
Sprouts?
You're a big sprout guy. I'm only learning this the last few days.
I'm a sprout man as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, love them. We had them with chocolate here the other day.
Yeah. Not so sure about the chocolate, but I'm a recent convert to sprouts.
Here they are.
Like I used to hate them, and I can get on board now. Fried with a bit of soy sauce. I know it's not very Christmassy, but yeah, I can get on board with sprouts.
Okay.
A little bit of butter. What didn't you like about them?
The taste. To be plain and simple about it. The taste. So, and I've just found out that if you smother it in enough salt, they taste nice, as with most foods.
Good butter.
Good butter.
Good bit of
Lash
butter.
it on.
Okay. But it did get us thinking, what are the best and worst elements of the Christmas dinner? So aside from the sprouts, is there anything else on the table, be it for the start of the main course or even the dessert, that you could say I could do without that?
I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but I could leave the stuffing.
Could you?
Not a stuffing guy.
I'm with Sean on
yeah,
this.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, we're united front.
Okay.
Not that fussed.
What is the stuffing you don't like? Is it the bread stuffing or the sausage meat stuffing?
It's a bit. I just don't particularly like it. Yeah, it's grand. Sausage is a bit nicer, but it's like it's a bit dry. It's a bit oniony.
You don't like stuffing. You don't like sprouts.
No, give me. I am spuds all day long. Right? Spuds done 4 or 5 different ways: roast spuds, garlic spuds, mashed spuds. Your classic Irish patty is what I'm saying here. Give me the spuds.
Okay,
that's my
Despite
highlight.
the price of them, he wants a plate of potatoes.
What about you? What's the highlight?
Desserts would be for me. My mum, every year she used to make beautiful sherry trifle. That'd be the thing at home. But if you got a dry dessert, now dry cake.
Can't be having that.
Oh,
no. Can't be having
Christmas pudding, not for you.
Or if someone lands in at your door with a dry Christmas cake now, that's not good.
Well, they're going back
out the back door.
Yeah. For me, it's that whole braised cabbage thing. What's it doing on the plate?
Yeah.
Don't know why it should be there.
What about soggy spuds?
No, a soggy spud is never a good thing, Derek. Come on, it's never a good thing.
So, your cake's wet, spud's dry is what we've landed on here.
Okay, the best and worst that on your plate on Christmas Day, let us know. Share it with the group. It's like therapy. It's like Christmas therapy. 0896 111 is how you can get in touch with us.
Now, to celebrate tomorrow night's show, Inside Aer Lingus, airing here on Virgin Media, we have an exciting competition for one lucky winner. Aer Lingus will send you and a friend to New York to experience the sights and sounds of the Big Apple.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Flying to town with Aer Lingus from Dublin to New York JFK. Enjoying endless hours of in-flight entertainment and complimentary meals as you cross the Atlantic in 2025. In fact, Aer Lingus will also be launching 2 new routes from Nashville and Indianapolis, bringing the total number of transatlantic routes from Dublin, Shannon and across the pond to Manchester to 24. For more information on Aer Lingus, see aerlingus.com.
Now, to enter, just join in the conversation. Email us at irelandamcomp@virginmedia.ie and let us know your absolute favourite Christmas traditions. What you do in your house that's practically unique to your family during the festive period. We want to hear from you.
It's a cracking prize, isn't it?
It is a cracking prize. Yeah. I'm looking forward to hearing some of those traditions as well.
If you're going to New York, try and save it for next Christmas.
Some people's tradition is going to New York, which is great.
Oh no, just go this year. Why are you waiting?
Do it now.
Go!
That's it. Now, coming up, Syrian rebels are claiming to have captured the capital as of this morning, overturning a regime of 24 years. We'll have that and everything else making your morning papers after this. Back to IrelandAM. Syrian rebels claim to have captured the capital of Damascus in the early hours of this morning, announcing the fall of the 24-year al-Assad regime. Joining me now with a look at the stories making today's papers are news editor with Bauer Media, Laura Donnelly, and political correspondent with the Irish Examiner, Paul Hodsford. Morning to you both, and thanks for coming in. Obviously, this is not making the papers because it's happened in the early hours of the morning, Paul. And the thing that struck me is how quickly all of this has unfolded in the last 10 days.
Yeah, a lot of people will kind of think of this and think the Syrian civil war, is that not something that was years ago? It's been ongoing since 2011, but largely there's been a ceasefire in place since 2020. The Idlib ceasefire has gone on from 2020 to 2024. In the last 10 days, the last couple of weeks, a group of opposition fighters, rebel fighters, I suppose rebel is a hard term.
Loaded term in these contexts.
It implies kind of good and bad, but this opposition group kind of sprung up and started taking cities across Syria. They took Homs yesterday and said that they'd surrounded Damascus in the early hours of this morning. And I suppose the speed in which the Assad regime has fallen, 24 years of Bashar al-Assad, 50 years of the Assad family, over within a couple of hours. He seems to have fled the country, they're saying now. They don't know where he went, but effectively the key infrastructure of the state has been handed over to this group. They say they're not going to hand it over to the military. They've given it to the Prime Minister. There was video this morning on social media of him being kind of marched out of his office in the Four Seasons in the middle of Damascus. Really, I suppose, incredibly quick change for something that came along with the Arab Spring back in 2011.
And Laura, what do we know about this group and where they have links to? Because they seem to, there's been opposition obviously to al-Assad for practically his entire regime, and the war has been ongoing, as Paul has said, for a long time. So this seems to be something that's gelled out of nowhere, basically.
Yeah, very little is known as to what's happened so far. So we just woke up to this news this morning, as Paul mentioned, the video which was broadcast and the sort of chaos that ensued from that. So al-Assad leaving, we don't know where he's gone, and the people on the streets, as we saw there, chanting freedom and gathering, thousands of them, also people fleeing from wherever they were. So as to what we know about the group, not much so far, but what we know is that the next few days will be very interesting to watch, because more and more details will emerge.
Absolutely, and when you read some of the descriptions, Paul, like that they're coming across police stations that have been abandoned, army checkpoints where the uniforms have literally been thrown on the floor under pictures of Bashar al-Assad, and we see him there. That this is happening very quickly for the operation of the state as well. So the fact that there seems to be some sort of a peaceful handover happening too is, I suppose, a good thing. It's hard to tell. Isn't it?
I'm not sure it's a peaceful handover as much as it is an abandonment of the posts where the military and the police have seen what's coming and kind of gotten out of harm's way. I think when you look at it, one of the big questions will be what comes next. We've seen in other countries in the Middle East where we think that an overthrow is, the path to democracy and the kind of thing that the Arab Spring called for. We don't necessarily know what the objective here is. They've spoken about freedom for all Syrians, they talk about a Syrianization of the state, a multi-ethnic, a multi-sectional Syrian republic, but I'm not entirely sure that that's the future, or what this group is aiming to do, or what it believes it will do over the next year or two.
Yeah, and all that breaking overnight, so we'll see how it unfolds over the next little while. Turn to our own politics, Laura, and it feels like 4 weeks since we were counting votes. It's only a week since we were still filling the last seats in the Dáil. And there's this already quite tedious tit for tat between Micheál Martin and Simon Harris on the front page of a lot of the papers.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Last weekend seems like a blur, and I can't believe we're working again this weekend talking about
2
what's
weekends
happening.
in a row. How does this happen?
So yeah, we spent months and months sort of anticipating the election and what it would mean. Now we're into what does government formation look like, and what does that mean? So everyone is talking to other parties. No real actual formation talks just yet. There's talk of what some people want. So Micheál Martin's expected to want a Department of Domestic Affairs, while Simon Harris wants to introduce a Department of Infrastructure, where they will meet on those wants is what we'll find out in the next few days. Also, a lot of talk about how much power each party will have. Fianna Fáil suggesting that they should have a little bit more power given that they have more seats, and that is what people voted for. Simon Harris saying then that he should have they want to continue with a bit of stability and continue with the way it has been, meaning that he will have as much power as he previously had.
Yeah, doesn't want to lose a shred of power, Paul. The parity of esteem being the phrase that is thrown around. But I heard Simon Harris speaking at Edinburgh the other day and saying, don't take Fine Gael's participation in government for granted. That's nonsense, isn't it?
Absolutely. When you go back, the day before the election, which was only about 10 days ago, Simon Harris was in Lucan, and one of his pitches to the Irish public was, think about the government you're electing. Think about the overall structure of the Dáil, who can run a country. The people returned Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael with not a Dáil majority, but very nearly a Dáil majority. Increased their participation in the next Dáil above what it was beforehand, after them having 4.5 years of government. I think there's a lot of people who'll sit at home today and wonder why there hasn't been a meaningful talk yet. And, the country voted for stability, which is what Simon Harris pitched. They voted for continuity. And now we're being told, don't take us for granted because, you might have less power or fewer cabinet seats. I think if Simon Harris isn't going to step away from talks because of that. But if he were to do that, I think the public would look at that and think that was a fairly childish thing to do, we'll call it. Because look, before, when the polling was going well for Fine Gael, there was talk that if it came back in the opposite way, if it was kind of 48 to 50 seats for Fine Gael and mid-30s for Fianna Fáil, that there would have to be some recognition that party of esteem really is only, that everybody's heard. But there's, reality, there's party of esteem and there's reality of numbers. And the reality of the numbers is that there's 10 more Fianna Fáil TDs than there is Fine Gael. There's a reason that the current cabinet, the one that's outgoing, isn't split 3 ways between Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and the Greens, because the Greens don't have as many Dáil seats. It's just simple maths. There will have to be some arrangement where Fianna Fáil is better thought of or gets one more cabinet seat.
Therein lies the difficulty for Fine Gael, doesn't it? Because if you're seen as the junior coalition partner, they always get a kicking. And Sinn Féin already is very much trying to paint them as that junior coalition. So they have to, in a way, say all of this stuff in order to make sure that they have, if not quite equality, to be close enough to not be seen as the smaller, the other party.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You have to kind of drag your feet and you have to dig in and you have to try and get the best deal that you can. But at the same time, you pitched to the country on the basis that a renewal of this coalition was the best option I'm not entirely sure now that you can start saying you can't take us for granted when you've already kind of taken yourself for granted by saying if you elect Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael TDs in sufficient numbers, we will form a government. And that's effectively what the public heard.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about this, I have no doubt, for weeks and possibly even months to come. Laura, we just want to mention as well, obviously Storm Dara was one of the big stories this weekend. It's in the papers again, and still, as of last night, about 175,000 homes without power.
Yeah, absolutely. At the peak of it, there was almost 400,000 homes without power, homes and businesses, we should say. And part of the country was in a red warning, many parts in an orange warning. That all expired yesterday afternoon. The worst of it ended then, but still the fallout continues. People are still without power in parts of the country, tens of thousands without power as it stands. And ESB networks, obviously they're working through the night to restore that, but they are saying it could take days for them to get everywhere. So that's tricky for people living their lives and also for businesses to keep going. So I suppose we'll wait and see what happens over the next few days, but it has been a tough weekend.
Yeah, and some of them, Paul, saying like this could be weeks. You know, this could be at least a week before some places, parts of the country have power back.
Yeah, and that's one of the, I suppose, the real challenges with something like this is getting crews to remote places, and you see the work that they do ongoing, going from 400,000 to 175,000 within 24 hours is an incredible achievement. They really are on top of these things when stuff like this happens, but there are realities that some people live in really remote places, and that flood damage can happen, that more severe repairs are needed, and sometimes that just means that it takes a long time. And will take a bit longer, and you could see it even driving in this morning, the amount of debris that's still down and still being cleared. Laura Donnelly, news editor of Baramedia.ie, and Baramedia in general, not just .ie, and Paul Hosser from the Irish Examiner. Thanks a million for joining us to the papers this morning. After the break, we will be getting your latest updates from the world of sport. We'll see you then.
Fáilte Rash, welcome back to IrelandAM. Not only is it the season of giving, it's also the season of receiving.
Oh, well,
Yes.
it is. Yeah, for giving, you get more pleasure out of giving.
You do. So today we're focusing on some personalised gifts that'll work for Secret Santa, presents for teachers, and of course, that little extra something under the tree for that special person you love.
Yeah, OK, because then your day could be ruined if there isn't one there. You know what I'm saying,
true.
lads? You do know what I'm saying. Rosalind Lipset joins us now with some personalised gift ideas. What have you got for us, Ros?
I have some absolutely beautiful, but most importantly, thoughtful gift ideas.
OK.
So, you won't need to run to the petrol station last minute and get those mugs.
Mugs or flowers.
Or flowers.
Garage flowers are called diesel doer.
You are...
But we've all done it,
Yeah.
Ros.
Oh, we've all been there. So let's get organised this year. As long as you have your orders in by December the 16th with cewe.ie, who we're showing here today. It's Cewe. This is the brand that we have first, and you will get your orders. So we're going to start off with the Cewe photo book. Now, this is such a beautiful book to give to somebody. Let's say you went on a holiday with someone, or somebody got married, or a big birthday celebration, or, those photos that personal photos between you and that person.
Not a wedding album, no, you're saying.
It could be, it could be a wedding album. It could be anything, any special memories. This is the Cewe photo book. It is just beautiful. It's got this beautiful cover. You can get loads of different paper types. There's multiple options. And look, if I can make it, anybody can make it. It is super simple to make on the app. And you can add all these gorgeous quotes and everything.
Beautiful?
It is an absolute
Do you know what, Ros?
keeper.
A lot of us go travelling, right, and we have thousands of photos on our phone.
But they're professionally taken photos.
They're not, Martin.
A lot of these are taken off the
Off your
people's
phone.
Instagram accounts and phones.
Yeah.
So it's just such a beautiful gift to give. And you know what? With the prices starting at $9.99, you're just going to look like so much
You're going to
work
be very
went
popular
into it.
with
But
this.
a lot of the website is so easy to manage that they do all the work for you. So we're going to go on to the next thing, which is, this is actually comes in a different size as well. It has this lovely cover as well. So the next thing we have is the yearbook. Now, this is similar to the photo book, but it gives the dates as well. So, let's say you went on that summer vacation last year in July. You can, create a photo diary about that. Again, it's all your memories from the year before. And it's just such a beautiful way to remember the year, from what you did in February to March. If you love travelling, or if you have loads of experiences of a concert or something like that, that. It is such a beautiful and thoughtful gift to give somebody, and I think anybody would absolutely adore that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like all the festivals, all your travels. There.
Yeah.
I mean, if you gave this to someone now
Okay.
as a gift for Christmas, isn't that just a
You
very
just look so
idea?
thoughtful. They'd be
Let's
like,
move
wow.
on to the calendars.
Yes, exactly. So now we're going on to the calendars, and it's just a beautiful way every month to think of something different that you did the year before. They actually gave me a personalised calendar, and I absolutely adore it. How cute is that? That's me and my son. That's for December
Did he eat that
2025.
candy cane?
He ate the whole thing, and he was on a sugar high, and I couldn't get him sleep. No, but it's so cute that you can look back on these memories next year and see what you did the year before. Again, this was just taken off my Instagram account. So
We've got these great cameras in our
yeah,
hands.
it's just so easy to do. And again, a calendar can seem so simple, but with personalised like this, you know, you can just look back on the memories from before. And I think it's a really beautiful gift
It's
idea.
a beautiful idea.
Really,
isn't it?
really thoughtful.
Okay, what next?
Next, we're going on to the desk calendar. And this is for maybe there's a student that is sitting at their desk and they want to know what day it is. You know, it also could be for the person working, you know, from home or in the office. Again, a gorgeous personalised calendar. You can have all the different pictures from your family, and every day you get a different memory.
Can we just print things like tidy your room?
Yeah, exactly. Wake
That's
up.
for your kids, Martin.
Put your washing in the basket?
That's you definitely can. You can totally customise all of these. So next we're going on to the personalised mug. So for the caffeine addict in your life, and you can put on little quotes as well. You can say, it's actually wine. You know, loads of different quotes. It's really, really fun. And you can actually get the magic mug as well. So if you pour
Oh,
in
the
the
hot
hot
water.
water,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
the picture
Turns
comes
coloured,
up.
does it?
The picture comes up.
Oh, the picture comes
Yeah.
up. Ah,
We
that's
had one.
cool.
We had one of those in our house. It was a Doctor Who thing. When you poured hot water in it, the TARDIS appeared.
Oh, really?
When you emptied it out, the TARDIS.
Yeah, it's
love it.
really fun.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want to see a picture of your face on their mug every year?
Everybody wants to see a picture of my face in their mug. Yeah,
I
only
think
so
that
that
would
they
be
can
great.
break it.
There's one
They
for
hide it
everyone
at
in
the back.
audience.
Or their own face, or their dog, or their cat
Yeah,
dressed up.
yeah.
So then we're going to go on to the thermal water bottle as well for the fitness lover or the busy commuter. Again, a reminder of what a gorgeous family you have. You can,
And nobody's going to pick it up and walk away with it.
That's true.
No one
Yeah.
is going to steal your water bottle. Exactly. That is a very good point.
And it goes on to your phone cover as well.
Yes, it goes onto your phone cover, and again, why not dress up your dog and hang them around your neck? Are you a lanyard man?
Not really, no.
I love a lanyard. Well, you can get them without the lanyard as well. So,
can, of course.
Yeah, and they come in a
You can print
variety
your
of
little
options.
kitties on it as well.
Oh yeah, the little kitten. We can
That's
get
gorgeous.
your face. You know, you can get your
Anything at all.
anything you want. So,
All day clever.
next we're going on to, if you could please hold it for me, the street map photo.
Yes.
So
Here
this
we have
is
it
the
here.
street map poster. So you can actually get a poster of the street map, or you know, your favourite place you've been, and you can get a little picture of yourself or your favourite kebab shop even. And
Roz, I
how
love the
beautiful
fact
is
that it has the coordinates on it. So you could have like your first kiss or where you first met.
Exactly.
Oh,
It's
is
so
that cute?
thoughtful.
Or the way home.
On the way home.
It's Christmas time. Which way?
That's the beauty about it. You can
Okay.
personalise all of these, and again, a gorgeous gift idea.
Okay, we've more than just photographs. We've
We
got
have the
candles and we've got
jigsaw.
socks.
Well, we're actually going to go into the jigsaw, which is a great gift for the whole family on those days where you're about to explode into a fight. Take out a jigsaw. You can get pieces
Oh, yeah.
from...
And then you got a weapon in your hand.
Yeah, exactly. You just throw them around to each other. So they're 40 to 2,000.
Okay.
Like,
All right.
a piece.
Well, let's move on because we've got some very cool
Yes.
socks and some really lovely
We have
candles, and all for
this
good
is
cause.
So beautiful. This is the Gavin Glynn Foundation candle. It's available in Avoca online at avoca.com. So it's such a special candle because Jane and John Glynn lost a child at 4 over cancer. So they started the Gavin Glynn Foundation. All proceeds go to help families that have to leave Ireland to get treatment elsewhere. So they cater from everything for the travel, for the expenses, and all of the money goes to charity. They do so much good work. So this is gifting with a
They're
purpose.
down in Grace Jones County Wicklow
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
They're
Fantastic.
fantastic. And it smells of
cause.
sandalwood. It's
You're
beautiful.
getting a great present and also donating to a great
Yes.
cause.
And finally, can we talk about incredible socks? So, look, loads of socks go into landfill every year, but these these are made of bamboo, and not only are they eco-friendly, they are sustainable and they're so luxurious. They're so soft, you can keep a pair.
Oh,
and
right.
they have
Piggies.
loads, a little gorgeous little
gorgeous,
piggies. They have
Everything.
ones for the
All
whole
kinds-
family.
all kinds of great
And some turtles. How about you? You can take some turtles.
Oh, that's
You
lovely.
see?
Gorgeous.
Limerick green.
Limerick
Perfect
Holiday.
stocking
Ross,
fillers.
thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, still to come. It's officially panto season, and so the cast of Beauty and the Beast will be here very soon.
Also, we'll be getting a Brussels sprouts recipe so good, even the kids won't be able to say no. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to a whole new hour of IrelandAM. Did you miss us? I bet they did.
Of course they did. Well, anyway, we're back now, so calm down. Still to come, his story of recovery and second chances has inspired us all. Former prisoner turned comedian Willa White is bringing in some feel-good festive cheer.
We'll also be finding out exactly how much an artist makes for every time you stream their song and everything they have to do to stay afloat in the age of Spotify.
Plus, he's used to hanging out with Elphaba and Glinda, but West End Wicked star Niall Sheehy is back home to take on the Irish stage. He'll be revealing all about his latest role of Beauty and the Beast after 11.
But first, Derek is making sure we get fed over in the kitchen today. What you got going on, Derek?
Are you hungry, boys?
Starved.
You're starving. Anyway, you either love them or you hate them. We were talking about them earlier on. Brussels sprouts. Lizzie, put the argument to rest, will you?
We are changing everybody's opinion on Brussels sprouts today on IrelandAM. We're cooking them up in a much different way. We're going to roast them with some butternut squash, some pancetta, cranberries, goat's cheese, pecans.
Oof. They look
And
delicious,
you're
right?
going to help me.
Sounds good.
And maybe later there might be a little bit of a wind in the studio.
We might get Sean Defoe to help you. Told us he didn't like them, but he'll love them later on. Anyway.
Now let's check on your Sunday paper, starting with the front page of the Sunday Independent. They lead with parents of teen girl raped by Cam's doctor fear he may have abused others. The paper reports that the parents of a child raped and groomed by a HSE child psychiatrist have questioned how the medic was able to repeatedly abuse their daughter in broad daylight.
On the front of the Business Post this morning is O'Reilly Jr. Irish firms must adapt to new global realities. The paper writes that Ireland remains as appealing to businesses today as it was during the heyday of the Irish Stock Exchange, despite fewer publicly listed firms being developed.
The Sunday Times leads with Martin and Harris set for power. The paper writes that Micheál Martin and Simon Harris are locked in a tight battle to become the next Taoiseach in the new year, as Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael will begin talks to re-enter a coalition this week.
On to the tabloids, and the Irish Daily Mail leads with rugby star Brendan Mullen in open prison. The paper writes that disgraced rugby hero Brendan Mullen has been sent to the open prison on Shelton Abbey, despite being sentenced to 3 years in prison for stealing $570,000 from a bank.
The Mirror's headline reads, Little Malika laid to rest. The paper writes that an 8-year-old girl who was killed in front of her mother was laid to rest yesterday in a small white coffin.
And the Sunday World goes with Cops probe Armagh GAA Hull. The paper writes that All-Ireland football champions Armagh have been plunged into crisis after police were called in to investigate an alleged serious incident on their recent team trip to Miami.
Now, gentlemen, we have had so many texts in for our Lingus Christmas competition. They're heading to New York City.
It's a big prize.
Are we
It's a
going,
great
boys?
prize.
Why not? Christmas in the Big Apple?
Anyway, we've
Wouldn't
got
you love
loads
it?
of texts in, which is fantastic. Keep them coming our way. Everyone who texts in is entered in the competition as well. Brenda's Christmas tradition was passed down from her grandmother British to her grandmother Peggy, and now to her sons Jack and Rory. They make homemade mincemeat. In fact, they make it every August and leave it to mature until December. And then they turn it into homemade mince pies.
You need
That's
to be
lovely.
making it as early as that, so you do.
Do you really?
Mince,
Yeah. Does it need to?
yeah.
Okay.
You can
August.
even make it earlier than that and just put it away.
I
That's
didn't
a
know
lovely
that.
tradition, isn't it?
Oh, it is a lovely tradition. Trina's Christmas tradition is that she doesn't open any presents until after breakfast. Oh, can you imagine trying that
That's
in your
a
house?
lot of self-control, isn't it?
A lot of
whole lot.
self-control. Her parents always did this, and she's now passed it on to her daughter. Can you imagine the child hoovers the plate?
Yeah.
And then you
Gone.
open the Christmas.
Cramming
She has
in the
to Hoover
Cheerios, shaking
no,
with
she
excitement.
just like literally.
Oh, I thought you were making her do housework first.
Go.
Caroline has texted. She says, every year Caroline's two boys come back home to put the Christmas tree up and they put the star on the tree together. When her boys were little, they used to stand on a chair to reach the top. Now the only one who has to use the chair is her. That's very nice. That's very sweet.
Oh, that's
lovely. One here from David. David used to make Christmas puddings with his nana every year. Unfortunately, she passed away in 1987, and he has continued the tradition ever since. This year, he has made, lads, 32 puddings for family, friends, and the postman. His granddaughter, age 4, is with him this year. Isn't that great?
That is
really
absolutely
nice.
fantastic.
32 puddings, though.
That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah,
you can start in August.
Whole lot. Yeah. But you could.
Yeah,
You could. Listen, puddings will last for a few years if they're pickled well enough.
I don't want to try your pudding. I don't know how long it's been there for.
Anyway, if you want to get in to win this brilliant Aer Lingus prize, you get involved. It's very simple. IrelandAM.com, and that's where you make your entry there.
Yes, now, gentlemen, we've another talking point here because the man of the moment is none other than
Me.
Paul Mescal.
Paul Mescal,
You're always the man
all
of
the
the
way
moment.
from beautiful Maynooth in County Kildare. And of course, he made his appearance, his first ever hosting debut on Saturday Night Live last night. He poked fun at his lack of comedic experience because he's always bawling.
Jenny out of side, other than that comedic timing.
He poked fun at all of that. He spoke about his Irish heritage. He spoke about centuries of British occupation. That's on live national TV. He spoke about his love of short shorts. He loves his short shorts.
He did start a trend.
Shorts.
They're very short. Let's take a look.
A short, an international phenomenon.
He
Like
has.
that's if he does nothing else in life, whatever but his acting.
Yeah.
that's
He
his
also
big
spoke
achievement.
about his nude scenes and his nude emotional scenes, and that this is quote, by the way, quote by Paul Mescal from Paul. Rumoured that Irish have sex with our cousins. No, that's offensive and ridiculous. We have sex with our second cousins.
You have to love him. And he said he doesn't have any comedic talent.
No, he's great. And I was at the premiere actually of Gladiator, and he came in, all his family and friends were there. He's such a humble guy. He's a great lad, and he's done so well. It's great to see him.
And he acknowledged that it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Lenny Abrahamson, who was in the audience, and he made reference to that.
Yeah. Fantastic career.
guy.
And it's spiralling upwards for him. So best of luck to him. After the break, it is time for a bit more festive cheer, and comedian Willa White is going to be joining us next. See you soon.
Wear your short shorts.
This week on IrelandAM, we've teamed up with On Post and SuperValu to give away the ultimate taste of home parcel to send your someone special the things they really want this year. Packed for you with all the delicious favourites, delivered by On Post worldwide. Every day this week, we are giving away a Taste of Home hamper you can send home or abroad, a Christmas stamp book list to add that perfect festive touch, and a €200 SuperValu voucher to take care of all your Christmas needs. It's all the favourites that family and friends really want, and On Post make it simple. Whether it's the perfect taste of home or a thoughtful gift, this Taste of Home parcel is more than just a hamper. It's a delivery of joy, warmth, and that special Irish magic that makes Christmas feel like it should. Send them what they really want this Christmas, and we'll take care of the rest. For more info, see onpost.com/send home. For your chance to win, just answer this question. What day is Christmas traditionally celebrated on? Is it A, the 25th of December, or B, the 1st of January? To enter, call 1550 999 091 or text GIFT to 57199. Best of luck.
Welcome back. Our next guest has gone from serving time in Mountjoy Prison to entertaining the masses at venues like the Gaiety and the Olympia.
Comedian and actor Willa White joins us now to talk about his journey from his early years to sell-out Christmas shows. But first, let's take a look at the funny man in action.
What I was doing during the pandemic, because you got the magic money, didn't you? How much are you getting? Same as you. 350. Right, 350. I used to call it the magic money because it appeared on Tuesday and then Wednesday it disappeared.
Well, great to see you.
Thanks very much, Martin.
Oh, I mean, that's just a taste of what people can expect from you. But, you know, what is it? You were the first comedian in 10 years to play the Gaiety this year.
13 years since Billy Connolly to play the Gaiety, yeah.
Wow.
And it was a last-minute thing. A guy called Jamie O'Grady from MCD, lovely fella, asked me would I do it. And I was very, optimistic. And I said, when is it? And he said, 4 weeks' time. I was like, I don't think it's doable. And we sold it out 3 days before the 4 weeks. And I was the first comedian since Billy Connolly to play it. And it's such
What a theatre.
an amazing theatre. I mean, I walked out on stage and it was just like there's a sea of people, and it suited me down to the ground being from Ballymun because there's 2 balconies in it as well. I was telling people, mate, to make sure that someone didn't throw off a television or a washing machine. No, but it was an amazing thing to do, and just something that I thought I'd never get to achieve in life, like, you know.
Look, your story is an amazing story, but yeah, to sell out the Gaiety is a sign that people are on your side and people love what you do. Is that a good feeling?
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, because for years of my life, people avoided seeing me, you know, and my nephew kind of summed it up. My nephew Darren said to me that when he turned the corner up the top of Grafton Street and he's seeing hundreds of people queuing up to go see his uncle, like he said, it just... You know, and it kind of confirmed to me that, yeah, I'm doing something right. I'm doing nothing wrong, you know. Me past is me past. Am I defined by it? Am I not defined from it? Sometimes I can say I am. Sometimes I can say that I amn't. But, I mean, I've changed my life around. I've been 23 years now in recovery without a drink or a drug. And my life is so different. And, you know, I'm 100% a better person, like, you know.
Yeah. For those who don't know, I suppose, your own story, maybe just bring us through it, because you did end up being
to kind of skim over it. I came from a family, mother and father, were very dysfunctional. Father had a decent job, mother had a decent job, but there was just a lot of stuff going on at home. Generational trauma. My father came from a household where, you know, without going too deeply into it, it was chaotic. And he'd nothing to do. Like fathers these days and men these days, you've got, you know, all these self-help groups and you've got people you can talk to. There was none of that back then. There was a high stool, there was a few mates that thought they were counsellors and therapists, and there was drink, which was a disaster. And then at home, there was a lot of violence, there was a lot of trouble. And it spilled into my life and my sister's life. And unfortunately, I just, you know, I took solace in taking drugs from a young age and ended up homeless on the streets, ended up in psychiatric hospitals, prisons. And eventually, at the age of 29, while serving a prison sentence, I got help from a prison officer and got out of prison in 2001 and turned my life around.
Okay. You have literally skimmed over it.
Yeah.
What I couldn't believe when I was reading your story, you started using drugs when you were 8?
Yeah, about 7 or 8 years of age. Solvents, yeah. Yeah, it was a big thing. It's crazy to think, like, and a lot of kids were doing it in the area, but a lot of kids in the area that I was from were suffering from the same thing that I was suffering from. And I mean, drugs for a kid that age and teenagers at that age was like putting a plaster over the trauma, like, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, eventually over time, the plaster falls off and you've still got the trauma there, like. So I found that when I took drugs, it took me away from everything that was going on at home. And that was why I liked them so much, you know. It was a temporary, temporary, solution to a permanent problem that was going on, like, you know.
Yeah. Who was it who gave you that bit of help when you were in prison? And how did you manage to get through it when we know a lot of people don't?
Yeah, well, I sought help from people that I kind of rebelled against for a lot of my life, or authority, like the guards, a prison officer called Mark Farrell, who I'm still good friends with and spoke with the other day, put his hand out and asked me if I needed help to ask for it. And just to say to anybody, no matter where you are in life, whether you're suffering with addiction or whether you're suffering with anything in your life, it is a brave person that asks for help. It's not a weak person.
Yeah.
And I asked for help that day, and when I asked for the help was given to me because I truly wanted it. And I believe you've got to wait until the person who is suffering asks for the help.
Yeah.
Don't assume that they want the help. I mean, if someone's drowning in a river and you throw them a life buoy, I mean, when they really want the life buoy, they'll hang on to it. Other people will just throw it back into the boat, like. And I was just ready. I was ready at that time. I'd had enough. I was sick and tired. I'd been sick and tired, and I'd surrendered. You know, I surrendered to win. That's what I done. Like, I gave up, and when I gave up and I fully, surrendered, things started to turn around. My life got better, you know.
Can I just ask a bit, because like comedy came into your life? Yeah. But were you using comedy as a child to hide the stuff that was going on at home?
Yeah, 100%. I come from a very rough area. I come from Ballymun. You were either a fighter, you were a footballer, or you were a boxer. I was none of them. I tried boxing for a while. I was probably the cleanest boxer in Ballymun. With that much water thrown over me. I was brutal at football. I was never any good at football at all. But I was always funny. And I always had a sense of humour. And I was on stage from a young kid doing talent competitions and in plays in the school. I remember being on Anything Goes with Angus McAnally when I was like 12 years of age.
Right.
The Ballymun Comprehensive was doing Oliver, and I played the part of Dodger. And it's mad because time goes on, and about 3 months ago, I ended up playing golf with Angus McAnally out in Portmarnock. Myself, Angus, Barry Murphy, and another guy. And yeah, look, I've always been funny. It's got me out of a lot of holes. I was never a fighter. I was never, you know, troublesome kind of person. Always had a soft spot for the person that was getting bullied. Was never, and I suppose it's coming from seeing violence, and it's coming from seeing stuff like that. That I just had I just had that softness about me, you know. And being funny definitely carried me through my younger years and through a lot of really difficult times, yeah.
Yeah, and you were on tour this year with the play The Examination, which kind of looks at mental health. So what was it like looking at that from a character's point of view, but then also bringing your personal history to it?
Yeah, it was really, really good looking at it. It was one of them plays. It's very, very hard hitting. It's none of it is fiction. It's all fact. It's about myself and another guy called Gary Keegan, who's from Broken Talkers. And he's an ex-victim of crime. He was mugged in London a good few years ago. And obviously I'm an ex-criminal. So we look at both sides of the tracks. We look at Gary from being a victim of crime and what the effect has had on him. We also look at me as from an ex-prisoner's perspective. And we also have extracts from lifers that are actually doing life in Mountjoy Prison at the moment. And I read from that. It's a very hard-hitting play. We took it to loads of different countries. We took it to Paris, Berlin, Norway. We took it to Edinburgh. We done an Irish tour. And it just gives people a second... You know, people that are in prison deserve to be in prison. Prison does exactly what it says on the tin. But it will give you the viewer a different perspective of what it is actually like, whether you're the victim or whether you're the accused or the one that's in prison. And it's great because MCD are actually going to put the play on next year in April for 5 nights again in the Ambassador.
Oh, great. So
it will give people probably the last chance to come and see it. But it's just one of them plays that's so varied and you could bring it anywhere. We took it to Paris to a theatre festival and there was women that came outside. It was in subtitles in Paris. And there was women that came outside that couldn't speak English that were just hugging me and they were crying, like, you know.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
because I just robbed a handbag.
I'm
only joking. Yeah, it's a very emotional, very touching piece of theatre, yeah.
OK. You mentioned the fact that that's going to be in the Ambassador Theatre. The Ambassador Theatre is open again. And you're there with Christmas shows.
I was there last night.
Yeah.
It's an amazing venue. It's been there for years and years and years. It's owned by the Rotunda. So they reopened it, and they've done it up, and it's great. So my show, Willa's White Christmas, which has nothing to do with drugs, just in case anybody is thinking of coming to the play.
But it has something to do maybe Bing Crosby's song.
Yes, it has indeed. And it's basically a selection box of comedy.
Yeah.
You know, we've got 5 different acts on. I'm hosting the show, so I come out, 10 minutes in the beginning, 15 minutes, and we have a bit of crack with the audience, the usual, where you're from, and, tell people what the show is about, and then, bring on a couple of acts, so I go back on again, and then there's another couple of acts in the second half, and the last couple of nights it's just great to go into a venue like that at Christmas, and I mean, for a Christmas crowd, because there would be definitely, companies that are bringing very, very well behaved. Look, I'd be used to, gigging in venues, and it's boisterous at Christmas, People are getting brought out by their company, they're getting free drink, they're getting free entertainment, and a lot of people abuse it. In the Ambassador, it wasn't that. Friday night, Saturday night was a thrill. We're back in the 20th, the 21st of this month, and then after Christmas, people are looking for something to do after Christmas. The 27th and the 28th, we've got myself, Enya Martin is on, Joe Dowling, Eric Lawler.
What a lineup!
I mean, it's a great night out. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. OK, I know there's lots of stuff that went on this year for you that was pretty sad, and our condolences to you on the losses that you suffered this year.
Yeah.
But we wish you well.
Yeah.
And
your story is inspirational.
Thank you. And I have to say a quick hello to me two granddaughters. I'm taking them out to Santi today, Zara and Belle. So big hello to Sarah and Belle.
Have a great time.
Thanks so much for having us.
Great coming in. Great story.
Run, don't walk to grab tickets for Willa's White Christmas. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster right now.
And of course, if you've been affected by any of the issues raised in today's programme, you can contact helplines at virginmediatelevision.ie.
All right, coming up, the tips to achieving the perfect Brussels sprouts with your Christmas dinner. We're in the kitchen in just a few minutes. Welcome back. Love them or hate them, no Christmas dinner is complete without a side of roasted Brussels sprouts.
Absolutely.
You see, I
Martin,
love them.
We've been talking about wind here for the last 2 minutes.
Well, they have their effects.
Anyway, Lizzie Lyons from Lizzie's Little Kitchen is here to show us how to make them in a way that would wow even the pickiest of eaters. And I'll be helping this morning.
Yes.
How's that sound?
That's great. I've given you the job that everybody loves. Cleaning the Brussels sprouts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really glamorous.
Happy Sunday, Derek.
I have yours here.
Shave a layer off them. You know, give them
Yes,
a wash.
you do. So you take the bottom off first, very good,
Yeah.
and then you take off the outer stalks, all right?
Okay.
So I'm going to start working away here. I've some prepared, but there you go.
Okay, so how are we making these more
so,
appealing?
So what we are going to do, a lot of people, they would steam or blanch or boil their Brussels sprouts. I'm actually going to roast them today. All right, so I have a little bit of olive oil here. How are you getting on, Derek?
Yeah.
No
Are
pressure.
these very high in fibre, by the way?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Is that the reason?
You know, yeah, that is the reason why.
Well, look, fresh vegetables at the best of times will have an effect on you. Yeah.
So we have a little bit of just olive oil and some salt here on those Brussels sprouts, and we're going to put them onto a baking tray.
Now, what I've noticed is you've halved them.
Yes, I have.
You have.
Yes, so that they'll cook faster.
Yes.
And they'll cook more evenly. And
Lovely.
we'll get a nice char then on the half, all right?
So you're not going to boil them at all?
No.
Straight
They're
into
just
the
going
oven.
straight into the oven.
Okay.
Now, I have some butternut squash here, and I'm going to drizzle some olive oil on that. I have a little bit of cinnamon and salt here, a tiny little bit of maple, and we're going to mix all of that around.
That was a tiny bit of maple.
Yeah, it is. Just a tiny
Just
bit.
a hint.
That
Just
to
a
sweeten
hint.
it up a bit?
Yes, it is. Now, these would be sweet enough, but it's just when everything comes together at the end, you'll see all these flavours are going to really complement one another. So I'm going to get that into the oven at 160,
Right.
and we're going to leave them in there for about 20 or 25 minutes.
Okay, so give them a decent run.
Yeah.
Okay.
In here now we have, I've a pan preheating, and I'm going to get pancetta in here.
Okay, can you just use regular old bacon?
Yeah, you can, of course, if you had a bit of smoked bacon. On the recipe, I put
Yeah.
down pancetta or smoked bacon. So we're going to have that on a high heat. We're going to get a nice colour on it.
Oh, Lizzie, it's going to be a windy night.
It is.
He's eating them raw.
It's Storm Derek on the way.
Oh, you bet. Here it comes.
Yeah. Just make sure you stay in front of them if you're going to be in this company over the next while.
This is really primary school, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my children love these jokes as well. Anyways, here we have some pecans. I have them halved. And what we're going to do is we're going to dry fry them just on a non-stick pan.
Yeah.
And we're going to, we have a bit of smoke here now. I hope the alarms don't go off. And we're just going to toast them up. So we're going to intensify the flavour of them, make them nice and crunchy. And now, how are you getting on?
Great. Nearly there.
Yeah, we're nearly there.
Now, Derek, will you stop eating them? Because we
Well,
have to
actually-
sample them ourselves.
Sorry, I know. I'm just eating the outer layers, Martin. Chill.
So, right, the next thing you're going to do for me, Derek, you can put those Brussels sprouts away. I know you're mad for them, but
Great.
yeah, we can pop that up there. And now you're going to make some dressing for me.
Okay, great. Sorry, what's Martin doing in all of this?
Martin's going to...
I'm observing.
He's taste testing. All right.
Okay.
So you
I'm
have
like a peacekeeper sitting here.
1.5 tablespoons of olive oil.
Okay, in we go.
Yeah.
All right.
And then just measure this. You have a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar.
Okay. I take this in the morning raw, by the way.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
Very good for the tummy. And now you're putting in a teaspoon, so half of that, please.
Half of that in here. What's
Yeah.
this, sorry?
That's maple syrup.
Oh, that's maple syrup,
And
yeah.
now we have some garlic, a clove of garlic.
Okay.
Clove of garlic
Yeah,
in there.
mix
And
all
that's
of that
being
together. Yeah. And you see we've another lovely colour coming on our bacon here
Wanna
now.
whisk it up?
Do whisk it up. Good man yourself.
You see, these... I always find... If I just put a bowl of Brussels sprouts out to a table or a platter of Brussels sprouts onto a table, kids are just going to say, no, not happening. But when you do this sort of thing,
Yes. So now what I have here
pimp it
are
up a
some
little bit.
beautiful dried cranberries. We're going to get them in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Again, they'll add that little taste of sweetness into it, right?
Yeah, now we have some goat's cheese.
Oh, now we're talking.
Now,
Get in there.
this is the humdinger.
That melts nicely on it then.
Yeah, lovely.
Plethora of flavours in there.
So we'll pop that back into the oven just for 30 seconds, just to melt it up a bit.
Now, when is this dish for?
Like, you could have this for Christmas Day.
Yeah.
You could have it Stevens's Day. Like, you
Stephen's
could
Day,
use, you could very, very easily reheat all your vegetables from the day before.
We do.
Or if you've any leftovers.
Yeah.
Leftovers?
Yeah.
No, but we go Christmas dinner
100%.
again on St. Stephen's Day.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you have enough left, would you?
Yeah. If you ask your butcher, and go to your local butcher to get your meats, if you're getting your turkey and ham, keep it local. Yeah, we'd make sure that there's enough to do it all again on St. Stephen's Day, and then it's
Round two.
leftovers on the 27th.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
So now, here we have our pancetta. We have our lovely pecans that are toasting up for us.
Yeah.
And we're going to get them. I'm going to take that now back out of the oven. And then we're going to use your dressing, Derek.
Lovely.
See, it was all for good reason.
There
Derek.
we go.
You see,
Oh, lovely.
everything gets used.
Now,
we're gonna
so
pour this over,
1
are we?
second, pancetta in.
And that's going to help melt the cheese as well.
Going to move that around.
This is a nice, simple dish, isn't it?
It's a beautiful dish, yeah.
Yeah, and the smells are beautiful.
Yeah,
tell
it's
you.
all about the flavours, though. It's like you're enhancing everything. Off
A
you
couple
go
of
with
roast
your
potatoes
dressing.
or a bit of mash, and just that, I wouldn't need the meat.
In we go.
In we go.
Pour it over.
Drizzle, drizzle.
Drizzle, 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 schnizzle, drizzle. There we go.
You
Look
missed
at
your
that.
calling, Derek.
I did,
You can
actually.
come down to Kerry and work for me.
Have I got a job? When do we start? Monday.
And then the pecans to
I'm short-staffed at the moment, so straight away.
All hands on deck.
All hands on deck. And now we've a lovely bit of fresh
Oh,
parsley.
look at that.
And
But that's a meal in itself.
it is a meal in
It is.
itself. So now I'm going to take some of this up. We'll pass over. It's quite a big bowl of.
How long was
share,
that
it's
in
no
the
problem.
oven, by the way?
The second part, when we put it in just for a few minutes, just to melt up the goat's
cheese. But I'm
cheese.
just saying that the pecans and the
No.
the bacon, the heat
Jenny
from
is
both,
going to be so happy with
she would
after
be,
you've eaten all those Brussels sprouts.
Can I just tell you, she'd be wildly jealous because she loves Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, how does
I've
that
got a
taste,
little
Martin?
fork for you.
The fruits of our labour. That tasty?
Do you want to taste?
I will have a taste, yeah.
Here, I'm
sure.
going to have a little bit as well.
Okay. Oh, wow.
It's hot.
Oh,
but
it's
it tastes,
lovely.
But it tastes like
Sorry, the
more.
cheese is gorgeous on it. Yeah. Delish.
Lizzie,
Here you go.
you're a whiz. You really are.
Wizzy Lizzy.
Whizzy Lizzie. That's what we're going to call you now.
We'll keep her busy.
Full recipe details are up on our website, or you can pop down to see Wizzy Lizzie as she's busy in the little kitchen in the stall, and you'll be well looked after.
And now she's in her tizzy.
And she won't make you eat the sprouts if you don't want them, but
Because
you
she's
should.
dizzy. All right. Next up, good spot by you to make become the next Chapel Roan. We'll be talking music streaming right after this big break.
Welcome back to IrelandAM. Now, on Wednesday, Spotify dropped this year's hotly awaited Spotify Wrapped, and while many were excited to find out just who they've listened to this year and how much time they've spent listening, others, like Irish singing sensation Imelda May, were a little bit more critical, writing Spotify telling the artist how their music is done is like the robber telling you how much was in your handbag.
Yeah, there's the tweet there. Imelda is just one of many artists decrying music streaming services' poor pay and treatment of musicians. But how bad is it really?
Here to tell us about the dark side of the streaming industry and teach us the best ways to support our favourite up-and-coming musicians is music consultant and commentator Dee Reddy. Dee, thanks very much for coming in.
A pleasure.
So how much do artists earn for a Spotify stream?
I think people would be really surprised to know the small amount that they get when you stream their music. So on average, because it does actually depend on the market or which region of the world it's in, but on average, per stream, Spotify pays 0.0003 to 4%.
Sorry, 0.000.
Yeah.
Of a cent.
Of a
So
cent.
that's
Of a
like
cent. Of a cent.
100 streams that get you 3 cents.
Right.
Basically.
So, like, if you're talking about somebody who has tens of millions of streams, they're only making a couple of grand out of that in a year, or it could, you know. And a lot of people, they'd be looking at getting a couple of £100 at the end of the year for music that, you know, might have done really well in Ireland and have gotten tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of streams. So it is actually really, really stark when you look into it. And that figure that they get doesn't all go to them, because that has to be shared.
So we have a couple of players involved. So we have the record label.
Yes.
We have, who else have we got?
So you would have, so it depends on the artist, but typically you might have a record label, you might have a publisher as well. If the artist wasn't the only person that was the songwriter on it, there would be rights around that as well. And for a lot of pop songs and things like that, that used to be a great way for emerging artists to make money, is writing songs for other people.
Yeah.
But now that 0.0003 or 4 cents has to be shared with 8 people.
Right.
You know, so it's really quite grim when you drill down into the numbers of what artists can actually make out of streaming. And that's how a lot of people are actually engaging with their music nowadays.
Music now. So how would that compare with, say, the physical sales? And a lot of it's vinyl, I presume now. Is it that's making a comeback? Are CDs still a thing at all?
CDs are apparently making a comeback. Okay. I know one family who have bought their son, I won't say names because he might be watching, but who have bought their son a CD player for Christmas. And I've actually gone through my old CDs and I'm giving him a load of them. But like records would be the kind of probably for music fans, the most popular way.
How much would they make out of a record, say, versus
So again, it really depends, but you're talking multiples of euro.
Okay.
Versus like
0.0. Record, they might get €5 or something like
exactly.
that.
So, you know, they might get €7. And it also depends where you buy it and how you buy it. Like if you're buying directly from, say, the artist's own website, they'll obviously get a bigger cut. There's also places like Bandcamp. So Bandcamp is, you can stream on it, you can listen to digital music on it, you can buy digital music on it, but you can also buy physical records and merch as well. And they during COVID actually launched a thing called on every Friday, once a month, every Friday, they would they wouldn't take their cut. All of the it would all go to music, and they kept on. They brought it back this year. Unfortunately, it's already done for December. I think it was the 4th of December. But keep an eye out for that next year. If you're looking to support an artist, see if you can buy it on Bandcamp on one of those Fridays, and they'll get all of the money going to them.
Back to Spotify then. When was the last time that artists on the platform received a pay rise, so to speak?
Like, I think it's a funny one because, as I was saying, it depends on the market that they're in. So if you're a musician, say, based in a country where the Spotify subscription is lower because the cost of living is lower, you actually, it doesn't matter where your music is listened to, you'll actually receive lower than that 0.003. I'm actually not sure when the last time they received a pay rise, but it's I think it was maybe earlier this year, but it was minimal. And there's also things that they've brought in since where they have the kind of opportunity to promote your music through Spotify. But when they launched that in, I think, 2021, the minimum recommended spend was $5,000.
Okay.
But if you're talking about how many streams you would need to earn back that $5,000 through
hundreds
Spotify,
of thousands.
Millions,
potentially, yeah.
So what are artists doing then to keep going? Because we can see, like, even the Lily Allens and Kate Bushes have been saying, look, I'm going to OnlyFans and earning more out of that.
Yeah, Kate Nash and Lily Allen. And, you know, I think I think more credit to them because they've done that, and it's almost kind of holding a mirror to how broken the system is by doing that. Because if artists as objectively huge as both of them, and with big back catalogues of music that people are potentially streaming, feel the need to go to OnlyFans to make a bit of money. Like Kate Nash was saying recently, and BBC Six has actually been very good at promoting that in a very positive way in the UK. But if she has actually said that selling some, you know, pictures on OnlyFans has actually paid for sound engineer on her upcoming tour.
I mean, is it justified though? Lily Allen makes 1.13, or is it 1.3 million a year from Spotify?
Is it that much?
Something around that, yeah.
Okay.
I think she's contesting some of those figures because that was one that was put together. But
and that, again, that could be what Lily Allen's music catalogue makes without everybody else taking their cut first.
Yes,
So that's probably why she's contesting it. I think it is fair enough. And, like, you know, I was thinking about this morning. Both Kate Nash and Lily Allen sort of came of age in, or the high points of their career were at the time where a normal part of promoting a new album was to do, you know, pictures in glossy magazines, and they wouldn't have gotten a cut of that. So, you know, I can actually understand the thinking behind going to OnlyFans and having control over your own content.
Yeah.
And certainly if your own content isn't making you money elsewhere, like on Spotify now, I can see why you'd really want to do that.
Yeah, it's fascinating to think where our monthly spend goes or doesn't go. Dee Reddy, thank you so much for coming in and breaking that down for us.
Yeah, great insight there, Dee. Anyway, still to come, Fiero himself, West End Wicked star night. She is with us, prepare to swoon.
We've also got some Christmas Day fashion on the catwalk, and we're calling tonight's big I'm a Celeb finale. We'll see you in 3.
Welcome back to the final hour of today's IrelandAM. If nothing else, this morning has brought us really all closer together, hasn't it, boys?
Closer.
We're at the forming a WhatsApp group.
It's
unbelievable.
Who'd have thought the lads coming together?
Bromance. What's it called? Are you still eating your Brussels there?
I am.
Yeah,
Can't
let
get
the
this
wind
away
blow
from me.
high.
You can't get it away from me. It's that good.
Collision.
I just shuffle over a bit there.
I don't blame you.
Still to come, it's a tale as old as time. See what I did there. She's a beauty, he's a beast, and we're catching up with the stars of this year's Beauty and the Beast panto, including West End star Niall Sheehy.
Plus, what to wear for the gram when you're opening your presents on Christmas morning. We're showcasing styles for the big day a little bit later.
And it's McFly versus Rooney in the big I'm a Celeb finale, with just 3 campmates left. Look at them there, crawling around.
Oh, the cyclone. It's always great.
Love that. We were predicting the next king or queen of the jungle in about 45 minutes' time.
Now let's have a last check on your Sunday paper, starting with the front page of the Sunday Independent. They lead with the story, parents of teen girl raped by Cam's doctor fear he may have abused others. The paper reports that the parents of a child raped and groomed by a HSE child psychiatrist have questioned how the medic was able to repeatedly abuse their daughter in broad daylight.
On the front of the Business Post this morning is O'Reilly Jr. Irish firms must adapt to new global realities. The paper writes that Ireland remains as appealing to businesses today as it was during the heyday of the Irish Stock Exchange, despite fewer publicly listed firms being developed.
The Sunday Times leads with Martin and Harris set for power. The paper writes that Micheál Martin and Simon Harris are locked in a tight battle to become the next Taoiseach in the next year, as Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael will begin talks to re-enter a coalition this week.
On to the tabloids, and the Irish Daily Mail leads with rugby star Brendan Mullen in open prison. The paper writes that disgraced rugby hero Brendan Mullen has been sent to the open prison Shelton Abbey, despite being sentenced to 3 years in prison for stealing $570,000 from a bank.
The Mirror's headline reads, Little Malika laid to rest. The paper writes that an 8-year-old girl who was killed in front of her mother was laid to rest yesterday in a small white coffin.
And the Sunday World leads with Cops probe Armagh GAA Hull. The paper writes that All-Ireland football champions Armagh have been plunged into crisis after police were called in to investigate an alleged serious incident on their recent team trip to Miami.
Now, gentlemen, our Aer Lingus comp is up and running. We have got loads of texts coming in. Everyone wants to go to New York City for Christmas.
Can you blame them?
We're all going with you. Anyway, Yvonne says every year on Christmas Eve, herself and her family wear matching PJs, including the 3 dogs. They're all dickied up and dollied out, and they watch as many Christmas movies that evening, stuffing their faces. Isn't that great?
Yeah,
brilliant.
So this is a bit of a strange one in. I can't imagine too many people will have had this tradition, but Joseph bought himself a pub for Christmas.
As you do.
Who wouldn't?
Well, he's guaranteed a drink.
A pub in Laban in Galway. He's moving in on December 13th, so I guess his new tradition will be pouring pints every Christmas.
Wow.
Moving in Friday the 13th.
Imagine, because you know the way, like, I'm a devil for going out and buying the little treat for myself when I'm buying other presents. Imagine going out and buying a little pub for yourself. That's
Why not?
taking
All
the
right,
mick
Joe,
a bit.
a happy boy, but he's moving in on Friday the 13th.
Okay. Oh, looking for
Might
some.
delay it a day.
Okay, we'll wait
looking
and
for
see.
others.
Rosemary
Right.
says on the first week of December every year, Rosemary and her family donate toys to charities. This is a brilliant thing to do.
Yeah.
They do a toy clear out with the children. They find boxes, unopened toys or barely used toys and give them away to make other children happy. That's a really lovely
That's
thing
nice.
to do.
Yeah.
Because Santa will be arriving with
Yeah.
a few other bits on the sleigh as well for them.
Exactly.
So that's
And everyone who texts in is entered into that competition, by the way. So
to win that
yourself
trip
a
with
nice
Ireland.
little trip.
keep them coming.
Nothing wrong with that. Okay, after the break, West End Wicked star Niall Sheehy will be discussing his turn in Beauty and the Beast, and he's bringing his bell with him too. We'll see you soon.
All right, Falter Rash, welcome back here to IrelandAM. Now, one of Christmas time's most enduring traditions is the old school panto, and this year we are spoiled for choice, aren't we, Martin?
Absolutely. We're joined now by Keelan Woodcock and West End star Niall Sheehy, who are taking on the title roles of Beauty and the Beast at the National Stadium in Dublin. And there's no prizes for guessing which is the beauty and which is the beast. Sorry about that, Niall.
Fair. Sorry, Niall.
Listen, is this your third time working with the group?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, God, I started my first ever professional job was this panto. You know, back in 2004, back when the show was at Liberty Hall. So yeah, it's been a wild journey all the way.
It wasn't Beauty and the Beast, was it?
No, it was Cinderella.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another classic.
Okay.
And of course, since then, you have travelled the world. You've been in China.
Yeah, I was in China. I've kind of been all over, but yeah, it's funny. Like, it's so nice getting the opportunity to come back, and for me anyway, like, this is where it all started. So it's a lovely opportunity to come back and work with the guys.
What is it about panto that draws you back?
I mean, I don't know. It's such a family-oriented show, and I think it's seeing kids in the audience be allowed to scream at the bad guy or cheer along with Sammy Sausages or whatever it is. Like, it's so lovely watching kids discover theatre, you know. And I think it's such a Christmas tradition. So yeah, having that energy and just seeing children dressed as Belle, you know, there's always little girls dressed as princesses, and it's lovely, like, you know.
Okay, so you do know that you're now a whole pile of people who are going to the show will be looking at you in awe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
Because you had a bit of stiff competition, right?
Yes, I did.
You beat 100 other people to get the role.
Yes, I did. So I actually went to the open audition for this pantomime, and there was quite a lot of girls there, which is really intimidating because when you're going in, everybody's so talented. But I just kind of did my best, hope for the best, and then
There you are as Belle. Look, I love the costume.
Did you arrive for the open audition in costume?
No, no.
That's a bit too
A
enthusiastic.
bit too on the nose there, but
But it is a great part to play.
yeah, definitely.
And the fact that it's panto, that fourth wall is brought down.
Yeah.
So all the little bells that are sitting in the crowd can join in.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be joining in, waving up to me as well, which will be very, very cute.
Yeah.
And as this is your first role, is it quite daunting now working with quite established cast? Of course, we've our own Alan from this parish, Sammy Sausages, which is great. I know you're kicking off on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Is it difficult?
It is. It's quite intimidating going into a cast as like the newbie when everybody's really established. They have like these amazing CVs. But as soon as I went in on the first day, everybody was so welcoming, so encouraging. So it is like a little family. So I feel right at home now.
And equally, like, I have to say, Keelan, I was shocked when someone said to me it was Keelan's first big role, because she's so perfect for the part and so good in the show. Like, I was like, oh my God. I remember when it was my first show, and in my head I'm going, I was never that good when I was starting, you know.
stop.
So she's got everything she needs for the job.
So, Niall, how did you get into performing arts then?
Well, I mean, it was really just accidental. I went to watch my dad in a musical in my hometown, like in the Amateur Musical Society in Bray. And I just remember thinking it was amazing. And I was like, oh my God. And getting to hang out with him, I'd sung karaoke. So I was like, oh, yeah, I'll join, you know. And Laura Whitmore was a member of the Bray Musical Society. So I was like, I'm joining, you know. But yeah, it was just lovely just getting to do shows with my dad. And then another society asked if I'd do their show because they always need more men. And so I just felt like a megastar going, yeah, sure. And it just kind of snowballed from there.
But you actually wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
And you ended up in musicals.
Yeah, I moved to London thinking, right, I'll go over there and give it a crack. But when I was there, I decided to apply for like a one-year training for a master's. And in my head, I thought, well, I should train in musicals because that's where there's so many shows in London. Not realising if you go down training in musical theatre, you'll stay pretty much in musical theatre. It was like a happy accident.
But there is a large chunk of acting needed for musical theatre.
Oh, massively, yeah. No, I think it's just one of those things where, you know, your CV kind of takes you down a road. But I've been so lucky to do the work I've done so far, and hopefully there's more to come.
Now, Keelan, you were working with some great actors in this production. Buffy. Let's talk about Buffy.
Hang on, you said great actors.
Don't tell
An
her.
incredible character, right?
Yeah.
Do you break down laughing in the middle
It is very hard to keep and we're quite serious characters. We're kind of the ones keeping that fairy tale alive. We don't have that as much license to mess around on stage, and it is hard to keep a straight face when Buffy's messing up
because
his
the audience are in
lines.
bits, the audience are in stitches.
Yeah, they are. They are.
They want to see us breaking as well. So like Buffy and Sammy will always push the envelope with us because we have to be the fairy tale. And, you know, that's just a red flag to a bull. Like, people want us to break character. Yeah, which is great.
Absolutely.
That lovely moment when you hear, do you want me to go back to the script?
Yeah, it happens. And it will happen.
Was panto a tradition in your house, Keelan?
Yeah, definitely. We always went to the panto growing up. And even as a kid, I was kind of in a lot of pantos. Like, you know, the way a lot of pantos will have like a children's ensemble or children dancers. I always did that growing up. So it was definitely something that my family always went to, our Christmas tradition. And now to be in it as the princess, it's like a bit of a dream come true, really.
Are they all going to come down and support you?
Yeah, definitely. They're so excited to see it.
There's a big bus leaving Scaries.
Yeah, there is.
Very large coach.
Yeah.
And all heading towards the National Stadium. It's a Christmas tradition, but it is carrying on beyond Christmas too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we run until January 5th. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
This is obviously a day off. Well, it's clearly not a day off because you're in here.
The rest of them have a day off.
You've got a preview then tomorrow, and then it kicks off on Tuesday.
That's it. Yeah. So tomorrow we've got like the last of the rehearsals, dress rehearsals, and everything, and then Tuesday morning 11 a.m. straight into
all systems go. Can we give your director a big shout out as well?
Absolutely, yeah. Daniel Maguire. We've all known him as Cheech for as long as I've known him. But yeah, he's doing all the work behind the scenes for us. Okay.
So. We can't let you go without talking about Wicked.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, you know, it's in the cinemas. It's there. You know, buckle yourself in. It's part one, and it's a long journey.
Yeah.
But you were part of the stage show.
That's right. Yeah, I was in the show back in 2010, 2011. Okay. And yeah, it's been a big part of kind of my career. Like I've made my best friend I met on the show, and we've been close ever since. And I think, you know, it's a magical show, and it's great to see it come to the big screen.
Have you seen it yet?
I haven't. I've been in panto the whole time. I'm hoping to go this evening because this
2 hours, 40 minutes. Yeah. Martin told me earlier.
Yeah, and I know what happens in the end anyway.
This is true.
Well, we all know what happens in the end. We're kind of told at the beginning. So, and we've seen the original movie to know how it finishes. Yeah. But it's nice to see that backstory.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's a magical show.
It is.
You've seen it.
I have seen the film. It's incredible. I loved it.
It's great. But all eyes now in the panto.
Yes.
So,
okay. Well, enjoy the day off.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's going to be all systems go from tomorrow. And of course, you can grab tickets to see Keelan and Niall in Beauty and the Beast at panto.ie.
Up next, styles to have you looking picture perfect as you pull your Christmas crackers on December 25th. We're at the catwalk in just a couple of minutes.
Oh, no, we're not.
Oh, yes, we are.
right, Fáilte Rash, thanks for staying with us here on IrelandAM. Now we're turning our attention to the big day. No, it's not our wedding, Rebecca. We're not getting married.
No.
It's all about December the 25th with some looks to wear, tucking into your turkey and ham. Stylist Rebecca Rose Quigley joins us now. Sorry, Guna Gadas, your dress is beautiful this morning. Where did you get it from?
It's also from Conchir Gundir, who we're going to showcase today as well.
Okay, and I love the way we've matching shoes.
Matching.
Gorgeous, very sparkly. All right, who have we got first up, Rebecca?
So
Monaghan.
Stunning, yeah, they were stunning.
Absolutely
looks.
gorgeous, yeah.
So I hope everyone got lots of inspo there for their Christmas Day
You
outfit.
did. Thank you so much.
Thanks so
we
much,
love
Derek.
that. Great. Anyway, after the break, it's all to play for as Danny Jones, Colin Rooney and Reverend Richard Coles go head-to-head in the big I'm a Celeb finale. We'll be previewing tonight's show right after this quick break.
Welcome back. The celebrity cyclone has come and gone, meaning it's down to the final 3 in tonight's big I'm a Celeb finale.
And joining us now to call the next winner is our own personal pick for Queen of the Jungle. It is Rebecca Ryan.
See, you'd be our queen. We'd be voting for you. Morning, noon and night, Rebecca.
I don't know if I'd be able for some of the trials. They've been horrendous.
Some of them have been bad, haven't they?
Yeah, they have been. But last night's episode was really fun, you know.
The cyclone.
The cyclone, everybody's favourite. It was so much fun, wasn't it? And you can see the celebs really enjoying it. But you know what? It actually looks, when I'm looking at it, it's like, that looks easy. But I think it's actually hard. Like
Water is a powerful thing.
It is very powerful, and they've wind and giant balls thrown at them and everything. Richard was very funny last night. What did he call himself? Steeple Man. Ding dong. So yeah, look, it was a lot of fun last night, and they went back to the camp then, and Danny had a challenge to try and win ice cream for the teammates, and he had to hide these different dolls ranging from small to life size, you know, and he had to hide them. They got the ice cream. So it was just a really good, fun episode.
Yeah.
If you're spoiler alert, Oshie was voted out last night. So tonight's final is Danny, and you have Colleen and Richard as well. So I've been looking at the odds for the last couple of weeks.
Go on.
Danny has always topped it, and I think he was a clear favourite from before. GK Barry and Alan from Corrie were always up there, but Colleen Rooney, I think as she's opened up in it, she's a grower. She's a grower.
Yeah.
So she could. I think I still have to say Danny if I am to call it, but I don't know. Anything could happen tonight.
All his bandmates, any reality TV show they've entered, have won.
Yeah.
So, you know...
No pressure.
I know. No pressure.
Yeah, there's a dedicated fan base there, but
Definitely.
I think Colleen Rooney... I think she's going to be the Queen of the Jungle.
Do you think so?
I think so, yeah.
I'll text you tonight.
Yeah.
You won't be shocked. Yeah.
And my wife, she said, I'll throw something at the telly if she doesn't win.
Oh, wait, she really...
So I'm not going to sit beside her just in case she decides to use me.
Yeah, maybe just hide behind the couch there or something.
And what is it about her makes her so...
Do you know what? You're actually seeing the real her.
Yeah.
Like, we've only read about her, we haven't seen very much about her, but she really comes across as a genuinely decent person.
And a really strong woman, I think, as well. Like, she's really the heart of her family, I think, as well. Obviously, Wayne is very busy in his life as well, but I think a lot of women do connect with her. She is still, I think, quite reserved a little bit, and I think maybe that's why it's taken a lot of time for people to warm up to her. But I think she's been in the public life since she was young, even school age, she was being papped.
Well, like he became a superstar when he was 16.
Yeah, so young, and they were together all that time. So I think she's had to kind of close off a little bit. But I think this year the campmates have been there's been very little animosity between them, and I think that gave a safe space for people to open up like that.
Rebecca Vardy was in that jungle a few years ago.
Oh yes.
She didn't last this long.
No, that's true. Oh, look at you, I love that. Bringing the old seasons in. But yeah, that's going to be brilliant. That's on tonight on Virgin Media 1 at 9 p.m. Can't wait. Don't miss it.
Okay, some of the other stuff we got, Inside Aer Lingus. I love these kind of shows. I love the behind the scenes. Yeah, I really like nerdy about this kind of stuff. So this is behind the scenes, how it all works, the stuff we don't see.
The stuff we don't see, if you're really nosy like ourselves, we love all that. But we get to see, I mean, when you look back at Aer Lingus, they were funded by the Irish government in 1936, and then they were privatised between 2006 and 2015. Then now they're a wholly owned subsidiary by International Airlines Group, and their head office in Dublin Airport. I mean, they're a well-oiled machine. There's 56 vessels in operation, so they're very busy. But if you ever wanted to know, right, what happens when I check my bag in? Where does it go? Or what happens to airport security? Because I want to know, because I've never had problem with airport security, but since I've married my husband, we're always pulled across. So I want to know, what is it?
Did you do a full checking him, for God's sake?
And he's not dodgy. He's been mortified watching this now.
I hope they did. It's the low-hanging fruit, but I hope they struck a GoPro on a bag and sent it through, and get that footage. That's what I'd love to see.
Where does it actually
Where does it go? Yeah, it's probably really boring. But
we'd love to just go in there and just have a look.
Crawl through,
yourself. It'd be great, like a roller coaster. But even long haul flights, they've had a lot of expansion now in North America. So they'll be talking about all all that. They've had a lot of social media presence as well. Like they opened a direct flight from Dublin to Las Vegas. They had the likes of Tyke Fleming and his dad going over and Eric Roberts and things. So they've had a big year.
Yeah, no, I did notice they put them on the cheap seats. So they weren't getting the bells and whistles journey over to Las Vegas.
No, the full experience. You have to have the full experience. But look, yeah, it looks like a really good documentary, and have a good nose tonight. That'll be tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. You know, so when you're pining for I'm a Celeb, that will certainly fill that void.
Fill the void, all right.
Okay, next. We've got a Secret Level.
Secret Level. I think this is one for the video gamers. If you're into your video games and if you're into animation, this might be one to check out. It is based on video games like the likes of Pac-Man, Mega Man, Dungeons and Dragons. So it's 15 short stories, and they're very short. They're ranging between 7 minutes and 20 minutes long. So quick binge there, which is really good. Great actors involved here. You have Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course, we know from Terminator. Arnold's son, Patrick, is in here too. Yeah, you might know him from Gen V and things like that. Kevin Hart, Keanu Reeves is in here as well. So lots of good voices. But you can see there, it's very gritty looking, and there's a rake of beautiful art in there as well, but very hyper-realistic, which you'd kind of expect from video games. So they do keep that style, you know. But Keanu Reeves he's a huge fan of animation. And when he met Tim Miller, who's the creator of this, he said he was meeting about another movie. And he said, well, you're into animation. I'm doing this thing called Secret Level. Do you want a part? He goes, yeah. He said, what part do you want? I'll take you on the part. But he said, anything, just put me in, coach. But he said, you know, Keanu is known to be really, really nice.
Yeah.
And he said he's super nice. He had 13-hour days to do these things, and he was super nice, very well prepared, and so it's nice to see.
He lives a very, very normal life.
He does, and he's apparently very generous as well.
Massively generous.
Yeah.
Fascinating character. Carry On Netflix, and not the Carry On that a lot of people will immediately
think. That's what I
thought. And we're back to airports.
We're back to airports, another airport story. But look, okay, this has been billed, quote unquote, as the new or the next Die Hard. Now,
but is it a Christmas movie?
No pressure. It is a Christmas movie, yeah, it is. But it's hard to say that because Die Hard is, so well liked. It's a big Christmas movie.
It was on the telly last.
There was a Die Hard they did in one of the third or fourth was in an airport.
In an airport, yeah.
The second one.
Yeah, bit of a rip-off. No, but look, I think either way it's going to be great, action-packed, in it. But it's basically about a mysterious traveller who blackmails this young TSA officer to get this package through security on a Christmas Day flight. And the actors are Taron Egerton. You might know him. He's huge, so hot right now. Kingsman, that's it.
And Elton John, Rocketman.
He was amazing in that. So good. So he's in it, and who's playing the villain is somebody you wouldn't expect. You might know him on screen, Jason Bateman. He's in a lot of lighter ones, like Horrible Bosses, Game Night as well. So you wouldn't. He said they wanted to stay away from the typical kind of villain that he was like, stroking your cat kind of vibes. But it'd be really interesting to see him in this role. And they asked Taron what was it like, what he enjoyed about it. But he said he was really scared because Jason Bateman's in his ear a lot, and he said the camera's going to be on me a lot. Will people be bored of just looking at me? But he said the script is really strong. It's a very easy buy-in, great story, action-packed. I think get your popcorn out. Friday night, it's on Netflix.
Taron's character works for airport security, and he's told you have to get this bag on a plane.
Yeah, that's it. He's basically the John McClane of the. If there's that sacrilege to say that, I feel terrible for saying that.
No pressure on him again. Very finally, briefly, Lord of the Rings: War of the Rohirrim. I'm a big Lord of the Rings nerd, so all I want to know is it good?
Is it good? Well, you know what? It is. Like I've seen some great reviews, but I think people are very protective over it as well. So it's a hard one to please the fans, but. It's set 183 years, previously of the trilogy that we know 20 odd years ago, and it follows the legendary Rohan King there. But it is what I like about this, it's stylistically different, maybe a bit different than what you might be used to. But how they filmed this, every scene was filmed by an actor. They were physically performing in it. They taped those movements and they they recreated it into animation. So it's incredibly lifelike. And a lot of fans like yourself, they might be saying, well, will that take the fantasy element away? But it does. I don't think it does. I think it's still
so you won't be disappointed.
I don't know.
Hopefully not. I'm looking forward to it.
The pressure of saying that.
But it's going to be interesting. They brought back Christopher Lee as well to play a character, even though he died nearly 10 years ago. It's fascinating. Rebecca, thanks so much for coming in. Lots of us to watch and ponder there over the Christmas period. Earlier now, we were making some extra tasty Brussels sprouts to have while we're watching all of these. Here's how we did it.
Prepare the Brussels sprouts and squash with olive oil, maple syrup and seasoning, then roast for 20 to 25 minutes. Toast some pecans in a dry pan and fry smoked bacon or pancetta until golden. Mix the dressing ingredients and, once the vegetables are toasted, top with pecans, goat's cheese and bake for 3 more minutes. Finish with cranberries, dressing, bacon and fresh parsley before serving.
Now, coming up tomorrow, the one and only Dermot Gavin will be stopping by.
We are using up our air miles and taking you behind the scenes at Aer Lingus to see what really goes on when passengers aren't around.
And we're baking a Christmas crumble over in the kitchen while at the catwalk. We're taking on the best colour combos for the winter.
All that plus the news, sport and weather you're waking up to. We'll be back in the morning from 7. We've got a few texts in, Derek.
Lads, Brussels sprouts, a big talk
Getting you
about
very
this
excited.
morning. Julie says, I personally don't mind Brussels sprouts, but my husband will literally try anything, including bugs. Get him on I'm a Celeb, and he hasn't eeaten bugs, but he will try them.
No, he says he has eaten
He has
Oh, he
eaten
has.
bugs,
Oh,
yes.
yes, yeah. But what did she say here? Yes, well, shudder if you even mention the word Brussels sprouts around him.
They're not that bad.
Eric says, I hated Brussels sprouts as a kid, but like coffee, whiskey, olives and wine, I think it's a thing that you learn to appreciate as you mature. You do, Eric. Absolutely do.
Just maturing, not getting boring.
Mary says she needs a fumigator with the kids around.
The smell I can take or leave.
Here as well. He went through half a pot of Brussels sprouts.
It's quite windy. Slow on, we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.